Let us discuss regarding very important topic, that is the mechanism of deglutitions, which is a highly complicated neuromuscular work, and it occurs in three phases. The first phase is the oral or buccal stage, or the phase where this happens within the mouth cavity. The second phase is the pharyngeal phase, where it occurs in the pharynx, and the third stage is the esophageal stage. Within the first stage, that is within the mouth or buccal cavity, the food bolus is taken through the mouth and it present within the buccal cavity, and the tongue become trough-like appearance due to the contractions of the longitudinal muscles, that is the superior longitudinal muscles, intrinsic muscles of the tongue, along with the vertical sphincter muscles as well as the genioglossus muscles. And when it makes a trough, the tongue makes a trough-like attitude. It just pressed the hard palate above and with the contractions of the tongues with respect to the hard palate, it forms a food bolus with the help of the saliva and with the teeth during the movement of the chewing. Now this food bolus is escapes towards the pharynx through the oropharyngeal isthmus. To do this, the mylohyoid muscles give a sudden contractions so that the tongue is pressed upon the hard palate, making the hyoid bones, this is the hyoid bones, as a center, forming an arc, so that the food bolus has been imprisoned within this hard palate and the tongue trough, and it has nothing except to pass to the pharynx. It has nothing to do. The force of contraction of the mylohyoid is so much powerful, it may raise the pressures about 20 centimeters of water. The first stage is voluntary in control, but the second and third phase is involuntary in control. When the food comes into the pharynx, it has three ways to pass. One is it may regurgitate back to the mouth, another way it may regurgitate to the nasopharynx, and the third way it goes to the esophagus through the pharynx. To obliterate the first and second options, that is it may regurgitate to the mouth cavity or to the nasopharynx, there are presence of the oropharyngeal isthmus and also the pharyngeal isthmus here. In the oropharyngeal isthmus, it has been closed by the contraction of the styloglossus muscles, and it pull the base towards the soft palate, base of the tongue towards the soft palate, and narrow by the both sided palatoglossal muscles, so that food cannot regurgitate back to the mouth. To obstruct the regurgitations to the nasopharynx, the pharyngeal isthmus has to close. To do this, the soft palate is pulled upwards by the pulling of the levator veli palatini muscles, and it become tightened so that the posterior ends comes with respect to the passavant ridge, which forms the part of the pharyngeal isthmus, which is formed by the fibers of the palatopharyngeus muscles, and tensor veli palatini make the soft palate tightened, so that there is the cutoff between the pharynx and the nasopharynx. The third possibility of the food bolus is to get enters within the laryngeal cavity, and to halt this, the area epiglotticus the larynx has to be pulled upwards by the contraction of the thyrohyoid muscles as well as all the longitudinal muscles of the pharynx, that is the stylopharyngeus, salpingopharyngeus, and the palatopharyngeus muscles. So the larynx has been pulled upwards. At the same time, the arioepiglotticus muscles which reside within the arioepiglotticus folds is contracted, so that it comes into the posterior tubercle of the epiglottis. The epiglottis is not fold back like a lid to close the laryngeal inlets. The arioepiglotticus muscles within the arioepiglotticus folds comes upwards by the contractions to touch the posterior tubercle of the epiglottis, and this has been held by the posterior cricoarytenoid muscles as well as the cuneiform bones of the larynx, so that it maintained its positions. So in this way the laryngeal inlet has been closed. Now the nasopharyngeal inlet has been closed, the oropharyngeal inlet has been closed, and the laryngeal inlet has been closed. So the food bolus has only options to get down, and it has been helped by the contraction of the palatopharyngeus muscles, so that it make the passage up downward inclined slopes, so that food bolus is easily sloped downwards, and it come down in the lower part. It has got two options to enters. It may get enters within the esophagus, that is the medial food channels as you have seen here, or it may go to the lateral food channels, which has been bounded by the arioepiglottic fold in the medial parts. Now food get enters within the esophagus and it reaches to the stomach due to the peristaltic movement. And as you know, esophagus has the striated muscles in the upper third, the mixed type of muscles in the lower middle portions, and the smooth muscles in the lower third part, and it creates a force about 50 centimeters of water in the upper third in the for the mixed type of food, and about 50 centimeter water in the upper third, and the 3 centimeters water in the middle, and the 1 centimeter water in the lower third. So it requires 1 seconds to pass in the upper third, the 2 seconds to pass the middle third, and the 3 seconds to pass the lower third of the esophagus to reach the stomach. And this is for the mixed type of food. And where about the liquids needs no peristalsis, and it reaches the stomach by 1 second due to the sudden contractions of the mylohyoid muscles. So in nutshell, this is the mechanism of the deglutition.